Welcome to A View to a Grill. I'm Johnny, and today we're going to smoke a turkey on the Weber kettle. We're going to start off with the turkey brine. I'll be using the savory spiced turkey brine kit, and this kit comes with everything you need in order to brine your turkey. And just taking a look at the ingredients, you know all of these flavors work well with each other. We're just going to follow the instruction card that comes with the turkey kit. Now I am using a 12-pound turkey today, mainly because it fits in the Weber kettle well, and it also fits in my spaghetti pot well. Now I'm going to start off with just putting the brining bag in the pot, and then I'll get 1 quart of water and pour that into a saucepan so that we can bring it up to a simmer. Let's take a look at what we're working with here inside of the bag. You can see all of the ingredients in there, the herbs, the spices, the salt, and just smelling the aroma that comes out of the bag, you know this is going to be awesome. Once your water is simmering, then it's time to pour the brining mixture into the pot, just so we can dissolve all of the salt that's in the ingredients. Now all the salt has been dissolved, and I'm just going to pour a glass of ice into the pot and stir that around. I want this brine to be really cold when I add it to the turkey. Now all we have to do is get the turkey in the pot and pour the brine right over the turkey. So we're going to want the turkey to be fully submerged. So I'm going to pour in enough water and bring it right up to the top of the pot. Once I start closing the bag, the water level is going to rise and the whole turkey will be submerged. Now we're going to want to put this into the refrigerator and try to get at least 24 hours of brine time. Now it's the next day or the day before Turkey Day, and we're going to want to dry out the skin before we actually smoke the turkey. Now we'll get that on the counter, cut off the little twist tie, and kind of let the turkey drain into the pot. Then get it on a rack. And while it's on the rack, we're going to want to pat the whole turkey dry. Once you've patted the turkey dry, let's get it back into the refrigerator, uncovered overnight, so that the refrigerator can dry out the skin. And then the next day, well, that's Turkey Day. We'll get that out of the refrigerator and take a look at it on the counter. You can see that the skin is totally dry, and it is even transparent in some places. This has really put us ahead of the curve in getting really good turkey skin. Now the turkey skin is not going to be crunchy or crispy, but it will be bite through and delicious. We're going to let the turkey sit out on the counter while we prep our grill. I have just about a half a chimney starter of used charcoal. And then here's a quick tip. Today is a windy day. What I like to do on windy days is put a few unlit charcoals on my charcoal chimney stand and then set my little lighter bucket right on top of that. This kind of lifts it up and gets it closer to the charcoal so that when your wind is blowing, it really doesn't affect you lighting your chimney starter. Now this turkey is going to be a lightly smoked turkey, so I'm only adding 3 small chunks of oak. Once I have the oak in the bottom of my slow and sear, I'll just bury it with some unlit Kingsford charcoal. Now notice I've left a little bit of space in the slow and sear for our lit charcoal. Now while the fire starter is getting lit, it's a good time to prep your turkey. Next we're going to get our rub together. I'm just using some Cajun seasoning, some dried Italian herbs, and some of my own SPG plus onion powder, and then just mix it up a little bit. And that is it for our rub. Now let's talk about what we're going to put in the cavity of the turkey. And I'm just going to go over to my herb garden and grab really whatever I have. And I'm also going to use some lemons off my Charlie Brown lemon tree. Now my herb mixture is going to be some rosemary, thyme, oregano, and sage. We're just going to take all of those herbs and stuff them right into the turkey. And we're also going to cut our lemons in half. And when you put your lemon in the turkey, give it a good squeeze just to release the lemon juice. Once the turkey is stuffed get some butcher's twine and tie up the legs. Now it's time to season the turkey. I like to turn the turkey over, backside up, spray it with a little duck fat, and then just season it very liberally on the backside. Next, we'll get the turkey turned back over, breast side up, and don't forget to season in the cavity of the turkey. Once you've got that seasoning in the cavity of the turkey, hit it with a little duck fat and then season the rest of the turkey. Now for this smoked turkey, we are going to capture all of the drippings in a pan so that we can use those drippings later in a gravy. To get those drippings, I'm using any aging vegetable that I have in the refrigerator. And in this case, we have celery, green onions, and garlic. I'll just pour that directly into the drip pan, kind of move them around to make it level, and then set the turkey on a rack right on top of that. Once you're done, you'll have something that looks like this. And now it's time to get the turkey on the Weber kettle. I'll put the lit charcoal in the space I left when we prepared the slow and sear. And now we'll just place the turkey and the drip pan on the indirect side of the Weber kettle. And don't forget the turkey neck. That's going to add flavor to the drippings. Today we're using the ThermoWorks Signals thermometer. I'm going to place one of the probes into the deepest part of the breast and another probe into the deepest part of the thigh. And I'll also be monitoring the ambient temperature of the Weber kettle. Now we are all set up, everything looks good, and we're ready to go. So we're going to get the lid on and let this cook for about an hour before we lift the lid again. Today our target temperature for the Weber kettle is going to be about 325 degrees. Now remember, I started off with about a half of a chimney starter full of lit charcoal. So I know I'm starting off at a high heat. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my bottom vent is set to the smoke position and that the top vent is about halfway open. If I need to adjust this, I'll adjust it later. And just so that I can monitor this cook more accurately, I'm going to go ahead and label the probes. Now everything is set up. There is no need to open that lid for at least an hour. All you're going to do is monitor the ambient temperature. I noticed my ambient temperature was having some difficulty getting into our target range of 125. I did a micro adjustment to the top vent and opened it just a little bit. Now I usually allow myself a plus or minus 10 degrees from my target temperature. So for me, anything between 315 and 335 is good. We're 1 hour in and it's time to check on the turkey. And at this time, I'm also going to add some chicken broth to the drip pan. The reason why I'm doing it now, well, it's because I forgot to do it an hour ago. Whenever I am smoking, I do not like to add cold liquid to the environment, so I'm going to heat it up first in the microwave. So we'll get the lid off, and the first thing I want to do is check on that skin. The skin looks beautiful, the color is coming along nicely, and the skin is dry to the touch. Now I'll go ahead and pour in the hot chicken broth that I forgot an hour ago. I'm also looking at the color. I want to make sure that we color this turkey evenly. One leg is darker than the other leg, so I'm going to go ahead and rotate the turkey. I'll go ahead and turn the turkey around 180 degrees. And now it's also time to give our turkey its first butter basting. I am using unsalted butter in this because we've already seasoned the turkey well. Also, this is a drizzle. I am not brushing the turkey with the butter because I don't want to knock off any of the seasoning. Now when I was turning that around, I kind of knocked off the ambient temperature probe. So I set that back up just so we can continue monitoring the ambient temperature of the Weber kettle. Now we'll get the lid back on. I'm also going to make a small adjustment to the top vent. That lid was open for quite a long time and oxygen just fed that fire, and I know my fire is going to be too hot to just let it sit there. So what I'm going to do is close the vent just a little. And just by looking at the graph, you can see where the temperature peaked. And by me closing the vent a little at the start, the heat started to decrease. Now we're at the 2-hour mark. The first thing I'm going to do is check to see how much charcoal I have left for the duration of the cook. I've used up quite a bit of charcoal, so I'm just going to kind of push everything to one side to see how much charcoal I have left over. Now while we have the lid open, we're going to also look at the color of the turkey and make some decisions. At this point, if you like the color of the turkey, then you're going to want to tint it with some aluminum foil just so that it doesn't get too dark. But I like to live on the edge, and I think we can get this turkey a little darker without burning it. And at this point, I'm also going to baste it again with that unsalted melted butter. And now we'll just get the lid closed. I feel like I need more charcoal to finish this cook. What I'm going to do is get my small chimney starter, fill it up, and get that lit. Check out the graph on how I could never really get that temperature back up. It's a good thing I decided to light up another chimney starter of charcoal. Once that charcoal is ready, I'm going to go ahead and add it to our Weber kettle. The first thing I'm going to do is move around the remaining charcoal and just knock the ash off of it. And now I'll just get the lit charcoal into the slow and sear, and you can see that new charcoal has put us over our range, but that's okay. We're at the end of the cook, and a little bit hotter temperature is going to help us ensure that the skin is bite through skin. I also want you to notice the temperature of the breast and the thigh. There's a lot of different information about when to pull your turkey off of the grill. For instance, if you're looking at the ThermalWorks turkey tips, that's like an 18-degree difference between the thigh and the breast. And how do you do that when it's all connected, right? Also, a recipe from Weber tells you that the turkey is done when your thigh meat is in between 170 and 175. And it really doesn't tell you what the final temperature of your breast meat should be. And then the instructions that came with the brine say that the turkey is done when your breast meat reaches 160 degrees. So there's a lot of conflicting information about what constitutes the best turkey. Now, saying that, I'm going to show you what I do. First thing I'm going to do is verify the temperatures with a pen thermometer. Now let's take a look. The breast is reading 154 degrees and the thigh is reaching 157 degrees. This is in line with what our signal says. Now there is a little bit of difference, but for the most part, they're pretty close together. I'm also going to try to get the temperature up on the legs and thighs, and I'll do this by rotating the turkey, getting the legs and thighs closer to the heat source. Now that does work sometimes, but today it didn't. As you can see here, both the breast and the thigh meat are virtually the same temperature. Now for me, if you're getting into the thighs and there's bloody red juice, I'm not eating that, okay? I'm going to decide at this point to leave the turkey on because I want that thigh to be done at a higher temperature. And now both the thigh and the breast are reading 165 degrees. I know that the carryover temperature is going to get me at least another 5 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the turkey off at this time. And now I have the turkey on a rack, and we're going to let this rest for at least 30 minutes. Now at this point, I think the turkey looks absolutely amazing. I'm glad I did not tint it with foil and let the color develop just a little bit more. And you can see in this side-by-side shot that, in my opinion, the turkey on the right looks better than the turkey on the left. Directly under the thigh and that little crevice in the wing didn't get that brown color, but that is what it is. That is airflow dynamics and the Weber not quite getting everywhere. And don't forget about that liquid gold that's still in the drip pan. You're going to want to use that liquid in your favorite gravy recipe, and it's going to be the best gravy you've ever had. let's check out the final temperatures of our turkey. I'm going to use my ThermalWorks thermometer pen, and in the breast we have gotten up to 170 degrees. Now in our thigh we've somehow raised up to 176 degrees. I don't know how this stuff happens, but it does. Now it's time to see the results of all of our hard work. I'll just remove one of the turkey breasts, put it on my cutting board, and in case you're wondering, I'm using the Dow Strong carving set. Makes an awesome present. The breast is cutting extremely well. In this shot, the turkey skin has been completely rendered. Just look how thin it is. We'll get up close so you can see the moisture in the breast. And notice, even though we took it up to 170 degrees, it still has plenty of moisture. Is it as juicy as it would be if you pulled it off sooner at 160 and let it rise to 165? No, it's not. But it's not the end of the world letting it get to 170 either. Now let's give it a taste. The turkey turned out fantastic. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that right now. Thank you for watching a view to a grill, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, y'all.